Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I wish that I had a reference to Frieza right now, but I'm not familiar enough with the property to do that.
And thankfully you're not, because people would abuse that fact. I'm Sean Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase. I know like the moves he had in the video games.
Yeah.
He likes pointing at shit.
He did.
He loves to point.
Pointing at people, above himself, all kinds of things. Look, I won't mince words for you, Rem. Space Hitler. Like that.
Oh, real weird that you've compared yourself to Space Hitler in the pre-banter.
I am nothing like Frieza. Thank you very much.
Anybody who's not a patron, check out this week's pre-banter, cause you'll see some shady shit. I don't know, man. Seems kind of sus in hindsight.
The moral of the story is stop AI generating quizzes. They drain my soul more than the normal quizzes.
Aren't all DBZ villains like you got Space Hitler or Parasitic Hitler or just like it's motivations. All of them want genocide.
Yeah, but like
all of them are Frieza, I am here to destroy the planet and everything you've ever known.
Yeah, Frieza is the racist one though. He exclusively refers to Saiyans as monkeys. Like
I mean, but to be fair, they literally are.
Yes. But
they are.
Yeah.
I agree it sounds bad, but also it is. Isn't he right? Yeah, I don't want to be on this side of history.
Yeah.
I don't want
to. Frieza apologist here. Interesting. But yeah, no. Like Cell just wanted to be perfect and kill people in the process. Like that's just part of the process.
What do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's fine to commit a genocide if it's for self-actualization.
Yeah, I mean, hey, do you prefer self-actualization or racism, Rem? Which is it? Okay. Or the third option, because they were hungry. Like if we're talking like DBZ, like major villains specifically, like those are like the three. Those are like the three motivating factors there.
What the fuck are we covering this week?
Not DBZ. Despite this is probably the closest we've ever been. No, Rem. This week I figured I'd give you a lovely little treat.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Because recently we've learned something about you.
Is it that I am particularly lustful for a certain Willy Wonka?
It is, Rem.
What? I have no idea. Is there an anime version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Tragically, no, Rem. They've made the Tom and Jerry version, but not the anime version yet. No. So I had to find something that was close.
Oh, okay. So yeah, sure. This is really well, it's not an anime adaptation of Willy Wonka. It's the anime equivalent.
Yeah, like it's the closest I could find in like 2 weeks' time. Different.
Okay, I have no idea what I'm in for.
So tell me, Rem, have you ever heard of the anime called Dagashi Kashi?
Of course not.
No?
Let's not pretend, Sean.
That doesn't ring any bells to you at all whatsoever?
No.
Huh. Oh, that's tragic.
Is it?
Not at all, no. It doesn't surprise me at all that you've never heard of it, if I'm honest.
What the fuck is it?
So, Remington, it is a little... So, the title is a pun, kind of.
Okay.
It's like a kind of pun on, essentially, it's a pun for cheap, weird candy.
Okay.
Like Kashi is snacks and Da is like futile, negligible.
All right. The good old anime shit candy.
Well, it's not that they're shit candies per se, right? They're novelty candies. They're weird candies. Because I don't know if you know this about Japan, but Japan has a lot of weird, eclectic sweets.
Fascinatingly, most of the people doing the subtitling have decided to just translate it as Hershey's. It's very interesting. It's a very strange choice by them, but they are unanimous.
Last week really left an impression on you, huh?
I will never be the same when it comes to anime subtitles.
Hey, look, I will say, back in the day of fan subtitles, at least during a shonen anime like One Piece, they had fun with the subtitles and like stylized them for special move names. So that was
I don't
cool.
want them to stylize it. I don't want subtitles to be stylized.
Man, but
I want them to be just legible and simple.
Yeah, it was so fun back then. But no, and Dagashi Kashi, the show, is basically all about that. It's about our main characters, I should say, Kokunotsu Shikada. And he is an aspiring manga artist. But unfortunately, not a very good aspiring manga artist. And has recently had to move back in with his father, who runs a fairly popular candy store in the countryside.
Okay.
And his father is basically doing everything in his power to convince him to take over the family business because he doesn't have anybody else to do so. And the story is of the slice of life comedy nature of him in this candy store and his interactions with one Hotaru Shidare, who comes in and explains the love of candy in more eccentric and zany ways.
All right, that's our Wonka.
Yes.
All right, okay. On a scale of 1 to Gene, how fuckable?
On a scale of 1 to Gene?
Yeah. Just to ballpark it. If you have to give an estimate.
Trying to give an estimate. Well, I just verified she's legal, so that's okay.
Oh, no, I don't want that. Okay, I mean, I'm glad that she's legal. I don't like that was a question that had to be asked.
I assumed they were adults because, like, it's kind of an adult-ish story because older people enjoying candies and such. She is 19, apparently. And
that's an adult, but still, I don't know.
It's we're not in straight up illegal territory, but we're definitely in, people our age probably shouldn't.
Yeah. It'd be a situation where, like, if I found myself in the morning after, and that's when I, like, learned the information, I would need to have some serious self-evaluation.
Correct, yes.
I'd be like, okay, how did we get here?
Yes, what was the pathway here?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Rem, on a scale of 1 to Gene Wilder, it is weebs, yes, are a big fan, whereas you in particular, it's very much like a self-evaluation, like 5 type of situation.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, it's acceptable and she's plenty attractive, but,
yeah,
that numbers mean things.
I don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy. Also, your girlfriend would be upset with you, I feel like.
Yeah, there's definitely that element as well.
Yeah.
Whereas if she heard about me raw dogging Gene Wilder, she'd be fine.
The most she'd be upset by is the fact that you didn't let her watch.
She'd be like, hey, bring me a Wonka bar and you're
while you're giving him your Wonka bar.
Hey.
But yeah, no, that's the simple premise of this show. It is a slice of life comedy show about weird Japanese candy and the interactions between these two characters. So, All
right.
Keeping it nice and simple because, you needed to have a little more Wonka sweet candy in your life. So I figured that this would be the nicest gift to you. And
God, I hope that it's actually good.
We'll see.
Oh, no.
3 episodes, Ren. I'm telling you up front so you don't have to worry.
All right.
And with that in mind, let's get straight into it. Let's go watch some Dagashi Kashi. And we are back after watching 3 whole episodes of the winter 2016 anime, Dagashi Kashi and Remington. Did it give you the Wonka feelings you were hoping for?
Sean?
Yeah, what's up, Rem?
I've recognized a flaw with the podcast.
Just one?
Oh, I mean many, but I've noticed a new one.
Okay, all right. What's the new one, Rem?
So we started a podcast because we were like, oh, what if we do a fun thing together, right?
Yeah.
Dumb, stupid, foolish.
Really? Huh. I thought it was working out pretty well for us.
Nah, we should have been like, all right, what can we shill? What can we sell? Right? How can we make money? But then you do it like in the Transformer style, right? Where we're like, oh, here's a little podcast about whatever, but secretly we're selling whatever. Bada bing, bada boom. Make millions or some shit. Because that Dagashi Kashi, it's just going in that same category. It just wants to sell candy, dude.
Well, in a way, isn't that what Wonka wants as well?
Yeah, I suppose just one is more fictional than the other for the most part.
Yeah.
Which I think helps a bit. Wonka's a little bit more fantastical, which is nice. This is just about actual candy and snacks, which could be okay. All right, this could be. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna describe this anime with all the things I should like about it.
Interesting.
Right? Because it has a lot of things that I have complimented so many other anime before. This anime, it's a pretty chill anime that's all just about being passionate about candies and snacks. Right? That's where the passion comes, and wanting to just share knowledge and love for these candy and snacks. I tend to really vibe with that. I love when people are excited about very niche passions, right? That's rad as hell. Mm-hmm. And when you can share with me a world that I'm not privy to, and you know what, even with candy, there's a YouTube channel I've watched plenty of in my time that's more or less just an older gentleman who runs a candy shop talking about making candy. And it's great. It's fantastic. And so all that pretty good. And then this anime also, it decides to have moments where even though it's slice of life, it decides to have pseudo high stakes, silliness, a little bit like bantery, where it's just taking it too seriously, but in a silly way. It has absurdist vignettes quite frequently, right? And all of these things, these are all things that I love, Sean.
Yeah, no, like it sounds like you're describing your perfect experience.
So why is this anime so boring? Why does it have so much I like, but it's so boring and bad? Because by all accounts, I'm like, oh, look, it's doing the things I like in the way that I like them, and yet it's so bad. And I think the reason is it's just a shitty script. It's some fun ideas, some solid ideas. Such a shitty script. As an example, right?
Okay.
One of the big things about this anime, so it's all about you have Hotaru. There we go. That's better. Hotaru. I always, it takes me a minute to figure out where to put the emphasis. And so Hotaru is super manic pixie dream girl about everything, without any nuance whatsoever. She's also the only one with much character. Everybody else, you got Saya, who is into the protagonist and doesn't like sweet things. You have the protagonist who likes sweet things but doesn't want to run the business and wants to draw manga. You have Saya's brother, who is horny for Hotaru, and you have Hotaru, who has a bit more character, but it's all centered about being passionate about sweets. And with this, Hotaru, manic pixie dream girl, And often we'll talk all about, like, we'll emphasize a certain snack or treat, and we'll talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like two ways that she talks about it. The first is talking about the appeal, and this is often done in like an over-exaggerated comical style, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the joys of X, Y, or Z, which can be valuable and insightful and interesting. You're like, you can easily be like, oh yeah, that is why people like that, and what an insightful way to put it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, to make a weird comparison, as
I
am fond to do.
Yes.
I'm fond to do. It almost gets a little bit John Green Anthropocene reviewed Diet Dr. Peppery, right? Where it's like, hey, I am just expressing a perspective, elevating this thing to a certain degree, to emphasize certain qualities about it in the world. All right, and I can vibe with that. The problem is it doesn't come across as like, hey, these are reasons to genuinely like it. It either comes across as a non sequitur that doesn't really have much connection to the actual snack at hand, or it comes across as a sales pitch, which doesn't feel like authentic. It doesn't feel like somebody sharing something they're passionate about, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes across as if you're playing the board game Snake Oil, right?
Oh, ooh, that's good. First of all, fun board game.
Very fun board game. For those who haven't played, the basic idea is you're given, you basically create random products by combining silly words, and you sell them to the table and argue why it's actually a great invention. You should take this. And it's very silly and over the top, right? And the whole point is just like selling it in this over the top, stupid, silly way. Obviously, you have no conviction for what these silly, stupid items are. And it's a fun game, but it's fundamentally different than somebody sharing their passion, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, you're just like, you're exaggerating for the bit. There's not actual like authenticity behind it. It's just some vacuous fun, which has its place, but in an anime that's centered around sharing this passion, sharing this fascination, I think it's the wrong direction to go with that. It needs to, even if it's a little bit over the top, you need to be like, wow, I can tell they really like it. And, I wouldn't go that far, but it's nice to see, how much they like it. Right. And that's just not what we get there. The second route they go with talking about snacks and treats is, informing us about the snack or treat. Sometimes about how it's made, the qualities of it, the history of it, things like that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That side, once again, could be super dope, could be very interesting. No, it's so fucking boring. It's insanely boring. In episode 3, there's a moment where it's like, hey, so have you ever noticed that candy comes in small amounts?
You know what, Rem? I have noticed that. Well, a lot more prevalent recently for reasons that won't be made clear until a few months from now. But I am very aware of candy coming in large but small amounts.
Well, was that informative and insightful?
Not really, no.
Oh, so you're saying that it would be as if I was like, hey guys, you want to learn about podcasting? You want to learn about this like niche little hobby of mine? And people might be like, oh yeah, tell me more about it. And I'm like, all right, so there's this thing called a microphone, all right? And that is what we talk into so that our voices can be recorded. And they're like, no, that you didn't need to tell me that. I was hoping that like, oh, let's see some insights from your personal experience and like specialized knowledge. That's kind of what I was hoping for. I wasn't hoping for the blandest observations that I was already aware of. Like, it's just, who gives a shit? Who cares? And that's what this anime does non-stop. And I just, in episode 2, there's genuinely 5 minutes where the characters are just talking about, this candy makes a bit of a dusty mess, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's man, the mess it makes. Yeah, it's a pretty significant mess. What do you do to block the mess? I put my hand under to catch the dust. Crazy. I'm not kidding! It's 5 minutes! It's 5 minutes of that! Who thought that would be interesting? That's not providing me insight on the candy. I'm not like, oh, what an interesting perspective. I'm not like, oh, you've turned something trivial into something fun. No, it's just so fucking boring. And later on in episode 2, right, they have a nice absurdist vignette about basically little lifesaver candies, right?
Yeah.
And how you can whistle through them. All right, yeah, sure. Okay, you can whistle through them. And it's like, oh, and what if, let's imagine an absurdist world, a little candy world, where a lifesaver father and son, and the son is learning how to whistle. And he's struggling to whistle, but then he eventually learns how to whistle. Okay, a fun little absurdist concept. And it goes on for a while, and I'm down for absurdist ideas that go on like a little too long. That can often make it funnier. But there's no joke. It's just, hey, look, there's candy people and it makes a whistling sound. Isn't that funny? Why would that be funny? Where's the humor? And you're like, oh, because they're candy people. And I'm like, yeah, so do something with it, goddamn you. Just come on. Like, never have I seen moments so absurd and over the top and yet still so fucking boring. It is insane because the show puts genuine effort into like referencing other media and occasionally playing around with stylized moments, and none of it means anything. None of it does anything. It's kind of ridiculous. It astonishes me because I'm like, yeah, if you put the effort into those things, you're good. You're going above and beyond. That'll land. That's beautiful. I love that shit. I don't know how they fucked it so hard. I'm aghast. It's insane to me, genuinely. This is just made for horny weebs who like sweets. Because, oh, by the way, it is super horny. God.
Yeah.
Hotaru, they're like, hey, Manic Pixie Dream Girl, and did you realize she has boobs? Oh my God, fellas. If you weren't aware, she has boobs. Want some candy and titties? And I'm like, what are you doing? What the fuck is this? Who is this for, man?
Look, Rem, all I'll say is that if you walked up to me and offered me candy and titties, I might be interested, but
it doesn't help that Hotaru is like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl in the most boring sense. Like, oh, she's a little bit weird, but not in a fun or interesting way, just kind of like that irritating way where they think they're like, oh, so unique and special and feel the need to emphasize that at every turn. In an obnoxious way. It's kind of like watching a Chunibyo anime that doesn't know that it's a Chunibyo anime. It's a Chunibyo anime, but they're not being bullied, and they kind of should be.
Like, I gotta bully the shit out of these people. How else are they gonna learn?
Well, especially it's just like she's just like a privileged rich girl who thinks she's extra special, and it's like, oh God, you've created the most insufferable character that is impossible to sympathize with at any turn, and it's like the whole plot. So she shows up because she's the daughter of a big snack magnate, right?
Yeah.
And they want to buy out this shitty sweet shop because apparently it's well known, even though nobody fucking comes there ever. But they're like, hey, we want to buy you because monopolies are cool or something. And the dad who owns the shop is like, see, I would, but I'm not going to. I'll tell you what, if you can convince my son to take over the shop, then I'll let you buy it and merge. I don't know, or I'll work with you. I don't know what's going on. I don't give a shit though, because like, what's the point? And then it's just the dad and her trying to manipulate the son into taking over the shop and abandoning his dreams. And you might think, oh, but maybe he's like not really interested. No, he fucking loves sweets. He's all about it. In episode 3, they're like, hey, we need to trick my son into loving sweets. But he already does. It's his only personality trait. It's the only thing we have of him. So it's like, what's the issue? The issue is just that he wants to do other stuff instead, which is fine. The issue isn't, as the other characters seem to believe, that he doesn't like sweets enough. The show doesn't give a fuck about the characters or the story. And I don't feel like it gives a fuck about the sweets because it's so lifeless when it talks about them. It'll like, high energy wackiness, but in the blandest possible way, where it's not actually adding anything. I'm not learning more information. I don't feel like they're sharing a sincere passion. It's awful. This is atrocious. This is a piece of shit.
Weird, man. And here I thought I was doing something nice for you, giving you.
Fuck you.
I thought you liked Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka.
I know this ain't that. God, Gene, come save me. Come save me, Gene. I need Mr. Wilder to get wild with me, because this is just the blandest sawdust. This is the kind of show that has me thinking, especially with some others that you've shown me lately, where I'm like, I don't know, man, maybe he'll treat me with mahogany sawdust the next day. That'd be kind of neat. And it's like, I'm fucking breaking, I'm shattering. I'm like, give me the abused hamster. Where's that? Just at least that was different. At least that, look, it was a lot of things. But it wasn't boring. And thank God for that. I'm losing it.
You tried to do something nice for somebody.
Shut the fuck up, you piece of trash.
Well, Remington, then if you had to guess, what do you think the MAL score for Dagashi Kashi is?
Who the fuck knows? Okay, all right, so it's insanely bland. It's niche, which could work if it like shared its niche, but it doesn't do so well. It does have boobs, which is gonna boost it higher than I'd like. All the characters are bland, but the weebs don't care because there's a love triangle, and so that's all they see, all right? They see a triangle with some titties, and the weebs are like, "Oh, baby, that's good writing." That's it. That's how it works. But at the same time, everything is so bland and shit. And maybe it doesn't give them enough titties. Maybe it doesn't give them enough love triangle, right? So maybe they're frustrated at it, but for the wrong reasons. Maybe there's even some backlash. And it's not because the characters are bad. Maybe people are like, the characters are so good. I just want to see more of them. Maybe that's what they're saying. I could see a world where that's the case. So maybe there's a bit of backlash. Maybe it's on the lower end, but nowhere near as low as I'd like.
I mean, to be fair, anime in general aren't anywhere near as low as you like, as a general rule.
God, say, and my heart is like, oh, it's got to be below 7, but then I'm like, it's fucking weebs, dude. It's fucking weebs. I don't know. I'll say 7 flat.
Just a flat 7.
Flat 7.
Okay, well, Remington, Dagashi Kashi has a whopping 202,000 ratings on it.
What the hell? Why did so many people watch this?
Well, let's see. It was winter 2016. What was going on in that season?
Apparently, sweet fuck all.
Well, the Erased was going on, and there were a couple second seasons that were incredibly popular. But as far as new stuff goes, not a whole lot.
I'm so worried that in winter 2016, this was hyped up. People were like, oh man, you need to check out this anime.
Well, Rem, with those 202,000 ratings, Dagashi Kashi is sitting nice and pretty at 6.60.
Oh, thank God. The weebs hate it. And I don't fully understand. Anytime it's the weebs like rate something really low, right? I always have the same response, which is like, yes, exactly. But also, why do you suddenly understand when something is bland and poorly written. Why, like, it's... 1 out of every 50, the weeps are like, oh, yeah, that is bad, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah! And then they're like, but what about this anime? And I'm like, no, that's also terrible.
Yeah, well, I will say, browsing some of the written reviews for this one, it does lead to some confusion on my part as well. Because, here's one of the reviews that specifically does not recommend it. They gave it a 4.4 out of 10, which you can't really do on this platform. I'm pretty sure it's just whole numbers.
Yeah.
But their too long didn't read is 4.4 out of 10. And this is exact words. No opie, no plot, lots of talking about snacks. And that was their issue with it.
Fucking hell. I hate how well I predicted that.
Yeah. And, and
I could, once again, there's a world where it's just talking about snacks, but it's fine because it's charming enough and authentic enough and just passionate about. I cannot emphasize, I genuinely have watched just an old man on YouTube talking about his history making sweets in his shop. And it's not bombastic, right? It's nothing crazy. It's just him talking over his process and showing how it's done. And it's delightful. It's delightful. And it's because it comes from the heart and you can tell he loves what he does. And that's all that's needed. But it wasn't found here.
Yeah, most of the reviews are very much the people who like it are genuinely interested in, the Japanese sweets there.
But it doesn't provide genuine insight. I'm not like, wow, I see the world of Japanese sweets in a new light. I'm just like, yeah, I guess I know. I've been told about a sweet that exists.
Some people are saying it's hilarious, which is interesting.
You're out of your fucking mind. But this anime, it's the equivalent of me being like, hey guys, let's learn a little bit about the American candy industry. So there's this company called Hershey's.
And that's it?
That's it!
Oh, holy shit. But yeah, no, most of these written reviews are confusing to say the least. A lot of people are like, recommended. It has no story. I'm like, wait, that's a good thing for you? Wait, interesting. Yeah, it's people. I don't know if people know how to make about this anime, but a lot of people definitely were not big fans of it, which is saying quite a bit. Goodness.
I hate how even when I'm blessed with a low rating from the weebs, I can't even revel in it because I still disagree with them.
You're still pissed at them.
Yeah, I'm like, this anime is trash, and they're like, yeah, I agree, and I'm like, holy shit, you agree? Yeah, it's trash for all of these reasons, and they're like, nah, here's why it's trash. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I will say, a few of these negative reviews do list the show as being boring, so you got that going for you.
Oh, thank God. And it's not even, once again, it's not just because it's like slice of life with low stakes and talking about a niche thing. I love all that shit. I love all that shit.
You just want it to be well written.
Yeah! When was the last anime you showed me that was well written? I guess Shikanoko?
I mean, that would be the most recent one, I suppose.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking, and man, the past couple months have been fucking rough for me. I've been sawdusted hard. Sean is sawdusting the shit out of me.
Yeah. There's been a lot of things you've absolutely hated with every fiber of your being.
Yeah. And so much like stuff I've hated because it's specifically bland trash. Where I'm just like, give me, I need something more. It's so filled with cliches. All I ask, Sean, if I may be so bold as to make a request for next week, all right?
Okay.
Obviously, I'd love if it was something good and high quality and super interesting on that front. But at the very least, good or bad, just make it interesting. Make it interesting. I'm so done with the bland trash. I hurt deep in my soul.
Okay. You know what, Rem? I think that's going to make next week very interesting then in that regard.
Oh, I'm terrified, but at least, hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right. Well, then, I think with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Rem not getting the sweet treat he so desired, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is not enough for you, twitch.tv/anime out of context, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/anime out of context, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including have the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week?
Do not be alarmed. We're building a buffer. It's okay that you haven't changed your name. We'd like to thank
we finally have a buffer back, gang, so...
We'd like to thank all of our Bland Bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus. And so yanderes are a thing in anime, you see. It's a trope. Where a love interest usually is particularly unstable and violent at times. And on that list we have...
I wasn't expecting this one to hurt you so much.
It's so fucking awful. I can't. It had so many ingredients to make it amazing, and it wasn't at all. On that list we have Xanax, Yandere Neko, Wonka Blueberry Inflation Porn, Wolfire 56, Where's Our DBZ Review, you ginger fuck? When's the Bible out of context on Lot and his daughters? Wes Kane. Welcome to Anime in Full and Complete Context, the show where we at AOC are proud members of the SOS Brigade. Watching Requiem for Spoon Man at 0.5 speed. Vote Miku for Global Leader. Utah #1. Unhinged Prax. Totally fun hearing you mess your name up will change. Titan CNH. The Susanator. The Flying Spaghetti Monster. The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Ronor Zoro as my navigator. Turban. Super Zoo. Stacy's mom. Sean wants to give Spoon Man a thank and yang. Sean chose Rem Kaguya-sama dubbed, and My Life is Yours. Sean's weekly Judy Hopps jar update. Sean has worked overtime, and now it's up to the knees. Sean, say this, I'm your little weep chip. Sean ruined my happy sugar life when he gave in to monetary pressure 1 week earlier than intended. Sean can do D's nuts. Sarah from the Shark plushie. So go to guy, that's what she said. Ross Palmer. Rhiannon Williams. Remington uses the deer crackers of liberation. Remington is right. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weeps from bad anime. Rem hit rock bottom is still on top of Sean. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. Regulatrion. Rare Kumiko is the will of the people. Pro tips out of context. The pellet with the poisons in the flagon with the dragon. The vessel with the pestle has the brew that is true. Professor Fox. Oni Chi Chi 10 out of 10 family show. Nick. Next week, the show and flop guys see if they can double penetrate my thick, juicy, big hole. Necrodancer 1415. My favorite dinosaur is the Triceratops. Mormon Everlasting Gobstopper comes with a sheep. Misaka was playing anime trope bingo, but every show this season keeps hitting the sister fucking square. Making fake mile count so I can rate Forest Fairy 5 10 out of 10. Macaroni Uchisa. Lucky Stars, the king of Moe. Link Joe Curl. Lenerd 98. Cassidy. Jax. Jam Hands. I'm the original guy that made you say cunt every week. That other guy's just a pretender. I can't believe I made me count for this. Hey Sean, want some fuck? Hey guys, your belly button is connected to your bladder, so Parisian Dick Laser has merit. Hattori Seiki. H-Racer01. Glenn Michael Dolan. Ginger Weeb. Fern the guy learning guitar by watching anime. Fern the Weeb wants to congratulate Sean for non-bottom behavior. What next week brings is anybody's guess. Fantide, Erica McCorkle. Does the capybara want a PhD for the ego boost or the research opportunities? Diana Madrid. Danielle Riot. Daddy Rem, tell me a bedtime story. Cheese Monkey. Chair the God supports Rem in the dark times. Cat girls are best girls, so give me them cute little paws. Cameron. Rock hard for Geodudes, and he pissed on my fucking wife, and he said his dick was this big. Blake Star.
Wow.
It gets me every time, Sean. I don't know why. I don't know why. And I think the fact that it gets me then makes it get me. Because I know it's coming, and I know that it's gotten me in the past, so that just makes it easier to get me.
All right.
Bento Kato. Been a while since I've changed my name on here, but I got through 4.0. Can't believe it. I'm also changing my major from funeral. Batman couldn't hate fuck that information out of me. Anime Atabu Kunketsu Suto. Why Daisuki Desu? And every day that Raven comes to visit. Amazing Muffin. AJ Tunnels. Aisha Gudgy. A Moe piece of trash. A little bit of spoon under my pillow for the Spoon Man. And now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Sean?
Oh man, it's super easy for me this week because they're going to get a Japanese snack. Not necessarily candy, but a Japanese snack.
Perfect. We have Umbracite.
You're going to get some just straight up Anko, which is Sweet bean paste, essentially, like the red bean paste.
That mouse girl.
Botamochi.
Tails is starting a Nep evolution until Nep.
Daifuku.
Spoonman the aristocrat.
Dorayaki.
Silent secondary.
Taiyaki.
Sean, has anyone told you that you remind me of Hisoka? So much in common.
I disagree.
Wait a moment. Was that the last pre-banter, or was it this pre-banter?
I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. We've been doing a lot of recording lately, and I can't remember.
I can't tell if they were just quick on the draw from last week's pre-banter, or if they saw through the future of this pre-banter.
Yeah. They can have edamame.
Serial Killer Isekai is a manga that deserves an anime.
Karinto.
Scourge, best 20 bucks spent, LMAO.
Takoyaki.
Sammy K loves the feel of rusty Spoonman against her salad fingers.
Okonomiyaki.
Rias.
Hello Panda.
Roscop.
Pocky.
Nightshade Blade wants to gush over magical girls.
Pretz.
Monogatari has don't review the off-season, it requires knowledge of 5 to 7 previous seasons.
Yan.
Mike.
Ramune Candy.
Miguel DeLeon.
Konpeito.
I summon the ultimate Exodia.
Calpis Candy.
The fuck you say to me?
Calpis. Calpis. Yeah, it's a drink. They apparently have a candy version.
Of course it's a drink.
Yeah.
I don't think you heard me. I said blimey.
Haichu.
Fate Zero when it's great for edginess.
Gumi 100.
Crosskirk.
God, some of the things on this list just have silly names. Tokyo Banana, which is a cake, apparently.
Crimson Reapers, just because of the sides.
Matcha chocolate.
Carver 271.
Choco balls.
Bloodcell asks, can you imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie?
Kinoko no Yama, or
Beethoven.
Choco Rooms.
Beethoven 1201.
Kawara no Machi.
Anime mashup of the week. A place further than next door.
Okay, that's pretty funny. Dars, which is a chocolate bar by the looks.
Animated Z.
Kakigori.
All Father won't upgrade his account to get Rem to watch VTuber Legend, but it's a funny anime and he should watch it, please, Sean.
Mochi ice cream.
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Sean, as Joey Wheeler, is going to gift you a particular niche hobby or special interest, and I am going to get you hyped with some information about it. And so we begin. Who knows how this is going to go? We begin with Sean better prepare his toothbrush for Rem because it's time to show the Monogatari series now.
You can have podcasting.
So with podcasting, right? It's what happens when you record just the audio and then you publish it and then people listen on a podcasting app. You see. Next up, we got Rowdy-O.
You're going to get trading card games.
All right, so here's the really cool thing, all right? So with trading card games, you're going to spend a little bit of money. You're going to be given a little packet. You're going to open up that packet, and that's going to have a variety of different cards in it, different every single time. Next up, we got, if I start making more accounts, maybe Sean will show Rem all of the Monogatari series.
You're going to get interpretive dance.
All right, so here's the super cool thing about interpretive dance, right? So it's not just dancing. You're trying to evoke certain ideas through the movement of your body. Next up, we got I'll do anything. I'm a bit of a slut that way. Jonathan, you busy tonight?
Let's see. Your niche interest is gonna be speedrunning platformers.
So, a lot of people don't know this, but speedrunning is actually trying to complete a game or certain objective within that game as fast as you possibly can. Next I learned this one trick, and Sean will show Rem all the Monogatari series. People hate me for it.
I can't give in, damn it. You're going to get board games.
So, board games, unlike video games, are played in real life. Now I guess it's now time to start bribing Sean to show Rem all 100 plus episodes of the Monogatari series.
Yeah, you know what? Your super niche interest is going to be B horror movies.
So there's actually different qualities of horror movies, right? So there's your big blockbuster horror movies, but a lot of horror movies are actually made with a lower budget. They can still be enjoyable to watch. And last but not least, I'm a regulation listener that used to listen to Face Jam, but now listen to 100% Eat Rare Kumiko.
Your final niche interest is gonna be juggling.
So the thing with juggling is actually you'll have multiple balls in the air at the same time. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
God, you love yourself an anti-bit, don't you?
Well, especially when it's gifted to me by such a shitty anime.
But thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do.
I won't mince words for you, Rem. Space Hitler. Oh, I just verified she's legal, so that's okay.
Oh no! What the? I don't want that. Oh, okay.
Yep. Because recently we've learned something about you.
Is it that I am particularly lustful for a certain Willy Wonka?